So, Bill, the Trump campaign confident they will get over 1,000 delegates today. We will see about that uncommitted vote in 7 states and where Biden lands with that. But Mark talked about this general election matchup. For all intents and purposes, it looks like it will be Biden versus Trump. And Axios with a preview of Biden's strategy saying, Biden's new strategy, go for Trump's jugular. President Biden is privately pushing for a more aggressive approach to 2024. Go for Donald Trump's jugular. Other sources tell us that Biden is looking for a fight. But do the American people want a fight is the question.
Well, I guess we'll find out soon enough. I think based on the border visit last week, I think Mark's right about a couple of things. I think the general election campaign is underway. Harris, you and I were on earlier today on Fox and Friends and made that very point. And the fact they're both coming to Georgia next week, it emphasizes it yet again about going for the jugular. I know what the White House has said about using surrogates to help push their message. I believe that. And there's a reason for that, is that he can't do it. And if you watched him walk across the gravel last week in Texas, all you have to do is play that video and watch it for 15 seconds, and you'll know for yourself, the capacity physically that he may or may not, I would emphasize may not, bring to this campaign. I have your cheat sheet for tonight, okay? Just for viewers watching at home, when we come on the air tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern time, that's when Virginia closes. I think there might be some interesting things in there. I'm looking for a story here, right?
Nikki Haley has been there.
That's right. And Vermont closes at 7 o'clock. I think those might be her states where she has the best chance to grab delegates tonight, so we'll see how they. I know what all the polls say. It's anywhere between 15 and 30 points for Donald Trump with a lead across all 15 states that vote tonight. 7:30 is North Carolina. Tennessee's at 8 o'clock, so all those states have a lot of delegates. Texas, 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock, because you have 2 counties on the far west of Texas that close at 9 o'clock. Minnesota closes at 9 o'clock, and I know you mentioned the uncommitted. I think Minnesota is interesting, and Harris, you and I were talking about this earlier today. I think they have half the population of Arab Americans that you find in Michigan. So I don't know if this uncommitted vote's going to be substantial in Minnesota or not, but that's something to watch. But the big enchilada is at 11 o'clock Eastern time, and that's California. And what the Trump team did, I think it's very important to point this out, they went into these primary states to try and change the rules. And they were successful in some of them, including California. If you get a majority, which means 50% plus 1 vote, you get all the delegates.
Right.
So you're well over 160 delegates in California alone. So just a little cheat sheet, little primer for tonight.
169 delegates in California. That is the big money prize everyone wants.
The enchilada.
And then Texas. And Harris, as we look at that uncommitted vote, it is interesting. I'm reading all of this reporting about Kamala Harris being this voice that is coming out calling for a ceasefire. She's clearly someone out there trying with wide latitude, trying to win progressives and trying to rein in that far left flank.
So I wondered about this yesterday because she met with the political opponent to Netanyahu at the White House, Benny Gantz. And I wondered, what is the strategy of doing that? And then to use words like what we just had her talking on the Faulkner Focus, well, Hamas has got to do the things it has to do. Like, to get a ceasefire, they're very specific about what Israel can and cannot do, but Hamas has got to do the things it's got to do. So I don't even know what that means because we never do with her. But I do feel like at this point, they're putting her out there much like they did on the abortion issue. Remember, you and I picked that up. We're like, wow, every day now she's talking about that issue. Some polling has shown that Biden is so poor at this, and he's bleeding support. And those communities, those Arab American Muslim communities, plural, everybody's an individual, but they agree on uncommitted, apparently 100,000 of them in Michigan. And we'll see what happens in Minnesota. But somebody has figured out she polls better. And I never believe that people do things, oh, well, she's a better communicator. Well, we know it's not that. So it's something that says that maybe they can get closer to not losing as much of that community until they can figure out policy-wise how you keep them and keep a relationship that's positive with Israel.
That's exactly right. Lisa, I want to get to this New Yorker piece. So Biden sits down for this interview with a reporter. It happened back in January. We're just now getting the full profile. We're going to take you now to a Fox News alert. Here is President Biden speaking. Let's take a listen.
You guys didn't report on Boothe. 5 in a row. You guys only look at the New York Times. They're a great paper.
Did he get the Israelis to allow more aid into Gaza?
Pardon me?
the Israelis, are you pressuring them to get more aid into Gaza?
I'm working with them very hard. We're going to get more. We must get more aid into Gaza. There's no excuses. None.
And how's your relationship with Netanyahu these days?
Like it's always been.
Sir?
Like it's always been.
Mr. President, what are you preparing for your State of the Union address?
You'll hear me on Thursday. All right? Thank you all so very much.
So that was President Biden talking about Gaza, the need to get more aid in, talking about his relationship with Prime Minister Netanyahu. And Lisa, that State of the Union comment, he said the State of the Union's Thursday. We know he's been at Camp David preparing. I'm curious as to what we'll see. And clearly on his mind is the former president. And I mentioned this New Yorker piece, and I want to put this up because this is very curious to me. The president, he only has a few pockets. Every president carries around a paper, a pocket card. Well, here's what Biden was carrying around for this interview. At one point with the reporter, he pulled out a white note card inscribed with some of Trump's most alarming comments, his threat to terminate the Constitution, his casual talk of being a dictator on day one, his description of immigrants as poisoning the blood of our country. Biden tossed the list on his desk and gave a look of disbelief. I bring this up because, look, everybody has opposition research on their opponent, but this seems to be the strategy. Go negative against Trump. I think he needs a different list for State of the Union, one with his accomplishments or his vision for the future.
But what else does he have?
Right.
He's upside down on all the key issues. His coalition from 2020 is fracturing. The majority of Americans think this country is on the wrong track. They question his mental fitness, as does his own Department of Justice with the Robert Hur special counsel report. So what else does he have? This is the only strategy that Joe Biden has, is to go for the jugular, as you pointed out earlier, is to make the selection of, Donald Trump is worse. I will caution people about complacency because, one, the polls today are only a snapshot in time. We've not even seen the media and the Democrats turn their collective ire towards Donald Trump yet in a general election matchup. Also, there's still the question of mail-in balloting. And I think you can look to even how this primary race is being observed by the media as to what Donald Trump's going to be facing this election cycle. The fact that anyone is saying Nikki Haley still has a chance is fantasy land. Right? Even look at the state of California that you mentioned. You've got 1/5 of the delegates today are in the state of California. It'll turn into a de facto winner-take-all state because Trump, right now in the Real Clear Politics polling, is at almost 54% of the vote. Right? So Nikki Haley has no chance, not in a primary, not even if it got to a convention. So this thing is over. The Trump train's rolling. It's either going to, it's just a question of when it's going to get there.
I agree with Republicans not being too confident. Absolutely. Always run as if you're 10 points behind. But that's something that Biden doesn't seem to be doing, Emily. His posture during this interview is described as almost too serene, as defiantly confident. And when he was asked about the polls, the reporter wrote he treated it almost as a provocation and said, you doubted me in 2020 media. You doubted us in 2022. Look what we did. Maybe it's posturing, but the confidence is curious given the polling.
Yeah, I think it's painted as confidence, but we've seen it similar to when you poke a bear or you poke a child or you poke someone with a short fuse. That, frankly, his outbursts, in my opinion, don't reflect accurately or adequately what the commander-in-chief should. And we've seen, as part in that New Yorker article, what he went on to say. He lamented the media's coverage of Trump. He blamed them. He said, it's like you've all become numbed by it, and blamed them, alleging that the media fails to take full account of Trump. He called him a loser. He posited that if Biden were to win, that Trump would contest it, even if it was fair and square. He sounded like someone who had a lot to prove because he's failing on the policy front. And I note that for someone to complain about the media coverage of Trump when it's his administration, it's his surrogates that have put so much on Trump's shoulders, that is newsworthy for us to cover. And you put that against the landscape of a president who has given the fewest news interviews since Reagan, who has held the media at arm's length, even the New York Times admitted, who has refused and bucked so many trends for, as Karine Jean-Pierre constantly talks about, precedent, but they buck the trip to Ireland, for example, news conferences that they traditionally hold abroad. None of those. None of those when they have meetings with other leaders that come to the White House. None of those. There are so many opportunities that he has had. He's the president. Super Bowl being one. There's a million, right? He said he would meet Americans where they are in terms of coverage. But the fact that he laments ignoring the media, refusing to engage with them in any type of formalistic way, and then blames them for covering Trump, to me is ironic. And it just, again, it speaks to the fact that he has nothing to show for it conceptually or policy-wise. So he's just coming out scratching, clawing at his foe.
Yeah, attacking the other guy is not going to work absent a positive vision. That's what I'll be looking for on Thursday and tonight. Lots to watch. That's why you should tune in for Fox News' Super Tuesday special coverage. That starts tonight, right here at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I will be joining. It's on till 11 p.m. and beyond. And Bill, of course, will be at the billboard. We'll be watching. You won't want to miss it.
See you then.
See you then.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.